Ivory Coast. It's a name that, brings to mind vibrant markets, lush rainforests, and more recently, some pretty impressive economic growth. Skyscrapers now pierce the Abidjan skyline, standing as a real testament to progress. New roads stretch across the land, connecting towns that are just bursting with life. The nation, at first glance, seems to be on a remarkable upward trajectory. In fact, its economy has been one of Africa's fastest growing for several years. But honestly, this visible success is just one layer. It's a gleaming facade that often captures the world's attention, speaking of ambition and potential realized. Yet, beneath this shimmering surface of modernity and development, there's a much deeper narrative, a story that's far more complex and, etched with the marks of a turbulent past. It's a tale of silent power struggles, of tensions that have simmered, and at times, erupted with real force. These are the lesser-known currents that have shaped the nation's journey. To truly understand Ivory Coast, we need to look beyond the impressive statistics and delve into the shadows of its history. A history filled with triumphs, but also some profound challenges. These hidden aspects are crucial if we want to grasp its present. The contrast is striking. The bustling economic heart of West Africa, with all its modern infrastructure, stands against a backdrop of historical complexities. This includes political fault lines that, in living memory, have fractured the country. The journey from ancient kingdoms through colonial rule to a hopeful but tested independence is really intricate. It's a path marked by both remarkable resilience and periods of deep division. This land of contrasts holds many stories that are vital to understanding its soul and, honestly, its future. If we want to comprehend this nation, we must explore these hidden narratives, and we must acknowledge the struggles that have occurred alongside its growth. The story of Ivory Coast isn't just about economic figures, it's about the spirit of its people, their ability to navigate profound adversity, and their ongoing quest for lasting peace and unity. So, this exploration takes us back centuries, to the very foundations of the societies that would one day become the modern Ivorian state. Long before European ships ever reached these shores, this land was, already alive. It was home to sophisticated societies and bustling trade routes. Among these, the Guyaman kingdom flourished from the 15th century. The Guyaman people, they were renowned for their artistry and were skilled traders, especially in gold. This precious metal found in the Akan goldfields drew merchants from far and wide, connecting them to vast trans-Saharan trade networks. Their capital, Bonduku, became a significant commercial and cultural hub, a meeting place of peoples and ideas vital to the region's economy. Further north, the Kong Empire emerged, founded in the early 18th century by Dioula traders. The Kong Empire became a powerful force, with its strength built upon controlling Saharan trade routes. They dealt in commodities like kola nuts, which were highly valued in West Africa and beyond. Kola nuts weren't just a trade good, they held cultural and social significance, used in ceremonies and as a stimulant. The Kong Empire also played a crucial role in spreading Islam. Its cities, like Kong itself, became important centers of Islamic learning and scholarship. These ancient kingdoms, they were not isolated entities. They were part of a dynamic and interconnected West African world, engaging in diplomacy, warfare, and extensive trade. Their societies were complex, with established hierarchies and rich cultural traditions. The legacy of these kingdoms can still be felt today, in the languages spoken, the customs practiced, and the historical memory of the Ivorian people. Their influence shaped the cultural landscape, providing a deep historical bedrock for the nation that would eventually emerge. Their stories are woven into the fabric of Ivory Coast. The wealth generated by gold and kola nuts was substantial, supporting powerful rulers and vibrant urban centers. These kingdoms showed sophisticated political organization, adapting to changing environments and economic opportunities. The early introduction and spread of Islam, especially through the Dioula traders, added yet another layer to the region's cultural tapestry. This pre-colonial history is essential. It shows a land with a rich heritage. Long before the disruptions and transformations brought by European arrival, it was truly a land of its own making. The late 19th century brought a new, transformative force, the arrival of the French. Seeking resources and strategic advantage, France gradually extended its control. By 1893, Côte d'Ivoire was officially declared a French colony. This marked the beginning of a long and, honestly, often difficult period. The French colonial administration aimed to exploit the territory's resources, primarily for the benefit of the metropole. This involved significant changes to existing social and economic structures. Traditional systems of governance were often undermined or reshaped. Life under French rule was characterized by profound changes. The French introduced cash crops like coffee and cocoa, which would later become mainstays of the Ivorian economy. However, their cultivation often relied on forced labor. Africans were compelled to work on plantations or infrastructure projects, and conditions were frequently harsh. Resistance was met with suppression. The colonial authorities imposed taxes and administrative systems, all designed to assert control and extract wealth. This era left an indelible mark on the Ivorian psyche and landscape. Despite the might of the colonial power, resistance was present, and it took many forms, from outright armed rebellion in the early years to more subtle acts of defiance. Traditional leaders and communities sought to preserve their autonomy, resisting the imposition of foreign rule and its demands. Educated Ivorians also began to organize, forming associations to advocate for greater rights and representation. Ivory Coast became part of French West Africa, or Afrique Occidentale Française, linking its destiny with neighboring colonies and sharing administrative structures, and eventually, a common struggle for emancipation. The colonial experience was a period of profound upheaval. It brought new infrastructure, like railways and ports, but these were primarily built to serve French interests. Western education was introduced, but it was limited, aiming to create a small class of auxiliaries for the colonial administration. The economic system was reoriented towards export agriculture, creating dependencies that would persist long after independence. The legacy of this era is complex, a mixture of imposed modernity and deep-seated grievances. The desire for self-determination grew stronger with each passing decade. The mid-20th century saw the winds of change sweep across Africa, and Ivory Coast was no exception. After decades of French rule, the nation achieved independence on August 7, 1960. At its helm was Félix Houphouët-Boigny, a charismatic leader who had been a key figure in the independence movement. He would go on to dominate Ivorian politics for over 3 decades. His presidency ushered in a period of remarkable economic growth. This era became known as the Ivorian Miracle, a time of hope and rapid development. Under Houphouët-Boigny, Ivory Coast became a beacon of stability and prosperity in West Africa. The government invested heavily in agriculture, and cocoa and coffee became the twin pillars of the economy. Ivory Coast rose to become the world's leading cocoa producer, and this agricultural wealth fueled rapid development. Roads were built, schools and hospitals were constructed, and the standard of living for many Ivorians improved significantly. The country maintained close ties with France, which ensured continued investment and technical assistance, a policy that brought benefits, but also criticism. The city of Abidjan underwent a dramatic transformation, becoming a glittering metropolis often dubbed the Paris of West Africa. Its modern skyline, bustling port, and vibrant cultural scene attracted people from across the region and beyond. Abidjan really symbolized the success of the Ivorian Miracle. It was a hub of commerce, diplomacy, and culture. Houphouët-Boigny's leadership, while authoritarian, provided a stable environment, and this stability was attractive to foreign investors. The country enjoyed peace for many years, a stark contrast to some of its neighbors. However, this prosperity was not without its underlying tensions. The focus on export agriculture made the economy vulnerable to global price fluctuations, and wealth was not always evenly distributed. Ethnic and regional disparities began to emerge, though often kept beneath the surface. Political dissent was largely suppressed, and the one-party state, led by Houphouët-Boigny's Democratic Party of Ivory Coast, maintained a tight grip on power. While the miracle shone brightly, some of the foundations for future troubles were subtly being laid. The long era of stability was deeply tied to one man. The Ivorian Miracle began to fade in the late 1980s. Falling commodity prices for cocoa and coffee hit the economy hard. Then, in 1993, a pivotal moment arrived. Félix Houphouët-Boigny, the nation's founding father, passed away. His death created a power vacuum, and the stability he had carefully maintained for over 30 years began to unravel. The succession struggle that followed his death exposed deep-seated political and ethnic fault lines. These tensions had long been suppressed under his strong rule, but now, they came to the fore with alarming speed. The concept of Ivoire gained prominence, a nationalist ideology that emphasized the identity of true Ivorians. It was often used to exclude political opponents, particularly those with perceived foreign heritage like Alassane Ouattara. Ethnic tensions, especially between northern and southern groups, intensified, and political discourse became increasingly polarized. The country, once a model of peace, found itself on a dangerous path. Economic difficulties exacerbated these social and political divisions, creating a fertile ground for conflict and instability. The situation culminated in a military coup in 1999, the first in Ivory Coast's history. This event shattered the nation's image of stability and marked the beginning of a prolonged period of crisis. In 2002, a failed coup attempt escalated into a full-blown civil war. The country was split in two. Rebel forces controlled the north, and the government controlled the south. Peacekeeping forces were deployed, but the division persisted for years, causing immense suffering and displacement. The dream of a united and prosperous Ivory Coast seemed to hang by a thread. The political crisis deepened further following the disputed presidential election of 2010. Incumbent Laurent Gbagbo refused to concede defeat to Alassane Ouattara, leading to a second intense civil conflict. Abidjan, once the symbol of prosperity, became a battleground. Thousands lost their lives and many more were displaced. The violence was brutal, often targeting civilians along ethnic and political lines. The international community intervened, eventually leading to Gbagbo's arrest in 2011. The scars of these conflicts, both physical and psychological, would run deep. Following the tumultuous post-election crisis of 2010 to 2011, Alassane Ouattara assumed the presidency. His administration faced an enormous task. The country was deeply divided, its infrastructure was damaged, and its economy was in ruins. The immediate priority was to restore peace and security. Disarmament programs were initiated, and efforts were made to rebuild the national army and police force. The challenges were immense, requiring both national resolve and international support. The path to recovery looked long and arduous for the Ivorian people. Under Ouattara, Ivory Coast has experienced a significant economic rebound. Large-scale infrastructure projects have been launched. Roads, bridges, and power plants have been built or upgraded. Foreign investment has returned, attracted by the renewed stability and growth prospects. The country has once again become one of Africa's fastest-growing economies. Abidjan is reclaiming its status as a major regional hub, and there is a palpable sense of economic dynamism in many parts of the nation. This progress is visible, tangible, and offers hope. However, the journey towards true national reconciliation is complex and ongoing. The wounds of the civil wars have not fully healed, and issues of justice for past crimes remain sensitive. While some trials have taken place, many feel that accountability has been selective. Achieving genuine unity requires addressing the root causes of the conflict, including land disputes, ethnic tensions, and political exclusion. Efforts to promote dialogue and understanding between communities are crucial, but rebuilding trust takes time and sustained commitment from all sides. Lingering concerns about political freedoms and inclusivity also persist. The opposition has at times raised concerns about the political climate. Ensuring that all voices are heard and that political competition is fair is vital for long-term stability. Ivory Coast stands at a crossroads. It has made remarkable strides in economic recovery, yet the task of building a truly unified and reconciled nation remains. The silent power struggles of the past still cast a shadow. The future depends on addressing these lingering issues with courage and wisdom. Ivory Coast is, honestly, a land of incredible cultural diversity. More than 60 distinct ethnic groups call this nation home, each with its own unique languages, traditions, and artistic expressions. From the Akan groups in the east and center, like the Baoulé and Agni, to the KRU peoples in the southwest, such as the Bete. From the Senufo and Lobi in the north, known for their intricate art, to the Malinke and Diula, with their strong trading heritage. This rich mosaic of cultures is one of the nation's greatest strengths, and it contributes to a vibrant national identity. Music and dance are integral to Ivorian life. Traditional rhythms echo through villages during ceremonies and festivals, while modern genres like Zouglou and coups de cow have gained international acclaim. They provide a lively soundtrack to urban life, and these musical forms often carry social commentary, reflecting the joys, struggles, and aspirations of the people. Sport, particularly football, is a unifying passion. It brings Ivorians together, transcending ethnic and political divides. The national team, Les Elephants, inspires immense pride across the country. The roles of women in Ivorian society are multifaceted. They are central to family life, agriculture, and local commerce. And many women are powerful figures in their communities. Yet, like in many parts of the world, they also face challenges in achieving full equality. The tension between modern life and traditional values is palpable, especially in rapidly urbanizing areas like Abidjan. Young Ivorians navigate this complex landscape, blending global influences with deep-rooted customs, and this creates a dynamic and evolving cultural scene. In conclusion, the story of Ivory Coast is one of striking contrasts. It is a narrative of impressive growth, shadowed by political fragility, of ancient traditions meeting modern aspirations. The journey from pre-colonial kingdoms, through the trials of colonization and civil war, towards a more stable future, is remarkable. It teaches us about the hidden complexities that often lie beneath a nation's surface. More importantly, it speaks volumes about the resilience of the human spirit. The Ivorian people have faced immense adversity, yet they continue to strive for peace, unity, and a brighter tomorrow. Their story is a testament to enduring hope.